She basically like goes to her room, closes the door, and starts taking a shower. I'm basically telling her like, you get up from this chair, I'm packing it up, I'm out. Like, I'm not about to sit here and do this. Hey guys, I don't know what I'm doing here, but hey guys, what's going on? Okay, today I'm giving you very much, I don't know, I wanted this to be beach waves because I went to the beach the other day and I wanted to give that like effortless, like, this is what I'm talking about when I say like I try to do one thing, like my inspiration is just a whole other thing than the outcome. And all of y'all are like, oh my God, I know what you're talking about. Your hair always looks good. It's like, thank you. But at the same time, this is not what I was going for. So yeah, I think that's just become a staple on my channel. What I was going for versus what I gave myself. So I don't know. I kind of like it though. It gives me very American Girl doll. But like the Puerto Rican one, you know? Anyway, who cares? I want to start off by saying thank you guys so much for all the love and feedback that I got on my last video. When I tell y'all, I was like so iffy about like if anybody would like enjoy it, because I don't know, I had so many concepts in my head. I had so many ideas that I wanted to like get in there, but at the same time I didn't want it to be like overwhelming and like too much, you know, just be too much to watch. And just the great feedback that I got, it was just so amazing. And I thank you guys so much because I really appreciate it. Like I feel like I haven't done that in a while, just I don't know why, but I really want to let you guys know that I really appreciate all the love and all the support and everything that you guys give to me, all the compliments, especially on my hair. I think that's like the #1 thing that people compliment me on is my hair, which thank you, okay? But no, I just wanted to say thank you guys very much for the OGs. I see y'all on every single video. I see every single time. Thank you guys so much for everything, from being when I had 100 followers or 100 subscribers to now like I'm almost at 10,000, which is insane, crazy. I didn't think it was gonna happen. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a special thank you, special love. Something's coming for y'all, just by the way, to show my love and gratitude. So thank you. Now, also I want to talk about, I got my first accusation, I guess you can say. I don't know why I'm so excited about it. It's not exciting, but I got my first person accusing me of my story times being fake, which I really want to laugh because it's like, girl, I love being on TikTok, like the what's it called? The hair side of TikTok. And there's this one girl in specific that I watch religiously. I could literally watch her TikToks all day. I mean, I do watch her TikToks all day. And that's why I wish some of y'all would understand, okay? If you average like 5 or 6 clients a day and you are working 5 days a week, you have how many, like, I'm not good at math, but like do it yourself, you know? That's 30 clients, right? 5 times 6, sure. That's 30 people that you worked with in a week. You are bound to get 1 or 2 crazy clients. And that's the thing, like, people are just nuts. Like, you interact with people every single day, you will have crazy people coming up to you. And the thing is that these people don't even think they're crazy. They think they're being normal. They think that their behavior is absolutely okay. So if you like, girl, push a little bit harder, okay? Come a little harder at me because that was not it, all right? If you want to think my story times are fake, then so be it. But I'm still going to give it to y'all because I don't care. This is what happens to me. This is my life. So, with all that being said, let's get into this one because this actually happened fairly recently. And I just, contrary to popular belief, I'm too nice. Let's just start there, okay? I'm way too nice. I give way too much leeway. I give too much slack, right? So I noticed that I have to fix that about myself because I need to stop being so 0 to 100. I need to learn how to be 50. Like, I need to be able to be like, Karen, let's focus. We're not gonna do that today. We're gonna do this instead of just like being quiet or being like, look, I already told you that, you know, I have to like learn to be 50. That is my 2021 goal. So this is a perfect example of that. So let's get into it because I've been already talking way too much. So this is gonna go back. So the actual issue that happened back in March, but this, when it all comes full circle, happened like 2 weeks ago. So yeah. So basically, I was working. This was when I had my stupid job. Oh my God, I had this stupid job. And I was obviously working with a bunch of people. So one of the women that I was working with, she had kind of like thrown out ideas. She's like, oh, do you do hair? Like, do you do like other people's hair at their house, blah, blah. And I was very hesitant to tell people that I would do their hair at their house, just because I've always said I am not. This was before I established this, but I always said that I was not going to do hair at people's houses. Number one, it is extremely annoying. Like, trying to shampoo somebody's hair, trying to like, it's not the same thing. Trying to do someone's hair at their house and trying to do somebody's hair at a salon is just completely, it's so different. It's worlds of differences. And so I was really against it for that purpose. And then obviously when you're going to somebody's house, there is not a professional atmosphere. They are in the comfort of their own home. So guess what? They're going to act like it. And that's the thing. Everybody is different and everybody's home is completely different. So when she was inquiring about it, I was just basically like kind of telling her no without telling her no. I'm like, oh no, like I just do my mom's hair. Like I don't really do everybody else's hair, blah, blah, blah. Because I was doing like my mom's friends and stuff just because I knew them and they know me. And like, I don't know, it's kind of like a buffer of like, they ain't gonna treat me crazy because they're friends with my mom. So, you know, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to go to somebody's, essentially a stranger's house to do their hair because I didn't know the vibes. So I just kind of let her down easy. I was like, no, not really, da-da-da, whatever. So then I actually ended up getting a kit, doing all this stuff, getting my stuff together. And I was kind of actively taking clients. So I was like, you know what? Fine. I'll start doing like, if people ask me, I'll start doing the hair. So there was another lady that I worked with who is my BFF. I love this woman to death. She is so amazing. She ended up asking me, well, her daughter ended up asking me to do her hair, her mom's hair. And so that's how I started talking to her. And this is like literally the epitome of a perfect client. Like I go to her house. She has everything like clean, organized. She lets me put my stuff out. I have plenty of room to work with. Everything is on time. Everything is on schedule. She is literally like my favorite ever. Like super easygoing, super chill, super nice to talk to, super accommodating, like the best thing ever in my life. I love this lady. I live for her. Like anytime she wants me to do her hair, like I will drop what I'm doing and I will do her hair. Like I don't care. I will forever do that lady's hair because she's just so great. And this is what I'm saying. Like this is, I feel like I'm all over the place, but do you understand how like service works? You treat me well, I'm going to treat you well. So remember that. So I started doing that lady's hair, the one that I love. I started doing her hair, and so it kind of got back to the other lady that I was doing. They worked in different departments, but it kind of got back to her, and she was like, oh, you started doing so-and-so's hair? And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of starting taking clients now, so if you want me to do your hair, like, let me know, and we can work something out. And she was like, okay, perfect. I just want you to dye my hair black, whatever. She just wanted her hair black, cool. So I go to her house, I do her hair, and it wasn't like a bad experience, but it wasn't my love, you know, my love client. That was like the best experience. And so it was kind of just like a little bit all over the place. We started a little bit late. She had me in like a very confined area. I really couldn't do that much. She didn't want me to put like stuff here and stuff there. It wasn't the worst experience, but it wasn't the best either. But needless to say, I still got it popping. So when I was doing her hair, we're going to call this lady, I have to give her a name. So we're going to call her Stacy. So I was doing Stacy's hair. She's the one that wanted me to dye her hair black. She was kind of like the mid experience, right? So Stacy lived with her sister, and we're gonna call her sister Deborah. So it's Stacy and Deborah. So Deborah had walked in while I was doing her hair, and she was basically like, oh, she was extremely outgoing. Deborah is super, super outgoing, super nice. Like, she'll act like she's known you her whole life. So when I was doing Stacy's hair, Deborah had walked in and she was like, oh, who is this? And then Stacy is a little bit more quiet, a little bit more reserved. She's like, oh, this is Samantha. I work with her. Like, she's just doing my hair, blah, blah, blah. She's a hairstylist. And so Deborah was super outgoing, super cool. She was just like, oh my God, like, you're so professional. Like, you have all your stuff. Like, look at you. You're so cute. Mind you, these women are like way older than me, like old enough to be my mom. So she's like, oh my God, you guys look like, this is so cute. Like, your hair is going to turn out so good. Da, da, da. Like, look how pretty your hair is. Blah, blah, blah. They're just going at it like, cool. So I was just like, thank you. She's like, you know, I've been doing my hair. Like, I've been going to this lady, but she like always switches up. She always tells me this, that, and the third. So I kind of should have taken that as a red flag. But needless to say, I was paying attention, but I wasn't paying attention at the same time. Like, I was just letting her talk. And she's like, yeah, I was doing my hair before. I was doing the keratin treatment, but I don't really like the way my hair's been going. This lady is kind of crazy. She just does whatever she feels like doing with my hair. And she never really listens to me. But I just go to her because she's cheap. Red flag. Such a red flag. Red flag number one is that when someone's looking to get a service with you and they're talking bad about the service provider that they go to. That's number one. Number two is you're gonna get your hair done just because it's cheap, not because it's the way you like it. But like I said, I didn't really go crazy with it. I was talking to her, I was being, you know, friendly, but at the same time, I was just kind of doing my first lady's hair. I was doing Deborah's hair, so I was in the middle of hers, so I was just getting her together, blah, blah, blah. So once Deborah is processing, I start talking to, or no, once Stacy is processing, I start talking to Deborah. And Deborah's like, oh, can you give me your phone number so we can set up a time because I really want to get my hair done. Like, if you could blow dry it for me. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, no problem. I'll go ahead, get it together. Cool. Now, mind you, Deborah has very curly hair. Like, she is Hispanic. So she has very, very curly hair. It's not very thick, but it is still curly. Like, you can't get away with just a blow dry. You have to flat iron it. Obviously, she gets keratin treatments. So, you know. So she was asking me if I do keratin treatments, and I let her know that I don't. I'm actually very much against keratin treatments, but that's neither here nor there. So she's asking me if I do that, and I was like, no. But I can, you know, I was showing her the pictures of like my before and afters with blow dries and things like that. I'm very comfortable doing curly hair. Like, no matter how curly your hair is, I can get it straight. I don't care. So we were just talking about that, and we set up a time for me to blow dry and do her hair. And so, cool. Everything was chilling. Like, I finished Deborah's hair. Deborah paid me. I went about my merry way. It was nice meeting them. Everything was good vibes. Like I said, wasn't the best environment-wise, like professional-wise, just because I was confined. They just kept stopping, talking a lot. And there was an old lady there. I don't know who she is to them. There was an old lady there, but she was just like commenting about how young I was. She was commenting about, like, she was basically saying like, oh yeah, Deborah has bad hair and Stacy has good hair because Stacy's hair was straight. She's like, oh, Stacy got her good hair, Deborah's hair is bad hair. So it just kind of like rubbed me the wrong way, because that's another reason where like the environment really just kind of like okay. But needless to say, we made her appointment. Everything was good to go. Cool. Let me also mention, Stacy's hair was super thin and straight. Long, thin, and straight. It took me no time, no product. I didn't even have to use like half the bottle on her hair of color. I was just in and out. Her hair was super, super quick, super, super easy. That is a factor, okay? So, cool. She paid me. I went about my day. So then that time comes that I have to do Deborah's hair. It was just going to be a blow dry, straighten, and a haircut. No biggie. So I come, cool. And it was kind of like she was giving me the runaround when I got there, but it wasn't bad. I don't know how to explain that, where it's like she was like, oh yeah, I'll be ready. Like, let me just make a coffee real fast and like I'll be ready. So if that's where it just gets pretty annoying, because like once like I said earlier, when you're in the comfort of your own home, you don't really have the sense of professionalism because you're not in that environment. So she's like, oh yeah, let me just make this cup of coffee real fast and I'll be ready to go. Like, don't worry about it. So I was just like, okay. Like, I gave her, let's say her appointment was at 10. I gave her like 10:15. And I was like, hey, Deborah, like, I really need to get started or whatever. And she's like, okay, like, let's go ahead. She was like, I'll just get the coffee later. Like, we can go ahead and sit down. So I was like, all right, cool. Blow dry her hair, straighten it. It was cool, chilling, fine. Like I said, wasn't the best experience, wasn't the worst, but we got the job done. She really liked it. She was just feeling on it. She was cool. So then she started telling me that she wanted to do color. This is where we're gonna get into it, okay? She starts telling me that she wants to do color on her hair. Her hair was red. So I was like, all right, what do you think about doing? So she tells me that she wants a black root with red on the ends. Mind you, her hair was probably like right here, but she had curly hair and she wanted 2 colors done to her hair. So she wanted black because she had gray hair. She wanted black and then red, and she wanted it like a very bright, vibrant wine kind of cherry red. So I was like, all right, cool. And she wanted to blow dry, straighten, and get a haircut. So you want 2 colors. So you want your base, you want your ends, you want, which I need to get my nails done. Ooh. You want your base, you want your ends, you want a blow dry, a flat iron, and a haircut. 5 services, okay? 5. So I was like, okay, cool. Also, she basically told me, she said, hey, I like this type of shampoo. If I give you the money, can you get me the service, or can you get me the bottles from the store and I'll pay you extra? So I was just like, okay, cool. She's like, I can't find this shampoo. She wanted some Joyco shampoo. She's like, I can't find this shampoo anywhere. If you can find it at like Cosmoprof or something, can you buy it for me and I'll give you the money? And she told me that she would pay me extra. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, I don't care. Sure. So we set a date for this. Okay, we set a date. I know this is kind of long-winded, but I gotta say like all of this. Okay, we set a date for me to do all those 5 services for her, plus get her shampoo. Okay, so the day comes for me to get her shampoo or get her service together. Her appointment comes. So, all right, cool. I sent her a text because they live like a little minute away. Actually, they live a minute away, okay? Let's not even do that. They live about 30 minutes from me. So I sent her a text and I was like, hey, good morning. I'm about to be on my way. She says, okay, cool. In 30 minutes, I let them know I'm on my way. I'm going to be about 30 minutes, okay? Her appointment, let's say it's at 10. 30 minutes, so I leave at 9:30. I text you, good morning, I'm gonna be there, blah, blah, blah. So I get to her house and I take my stuff out of my trunk. I go to the front door and I text her. I was like, hey, I'm here. No response. So I was like, okay, like, let me just wait a little bit. Let me not get too eager. Maybe she's in the back of the house. Maybe she's doing something. I don't know, but she doesn't have her phone. So I'm just waiting, cool. So then I sent her another text message and I was like, hey, I'm here, like, what's up, you know? And so then she opens the door and she's like, oh, hey, sorry, like, I didn't notice that you were here, like, come in, whatever. So I was like, all right, cool, like, no biggie, maybe 5 minutes outside of the door, not a big deal, cool. So I go ahead and I start taking my stuff out to start setting it up. And so she was like, I'm going to jump in the shower while you're getting ready. And I basically told her, I was like, oh no, like, I don't, like, this is not gonna take me a long time. Like, I prefer you not take a shower. I don't know what got lost in translation, but she basically like goes to her room, closes the door, and starts taking a shower. So I was just like, okay. So mind you, I'm got my stuff together. I have everything out. She's in the shower. So I'm just sitting on her bed, like, not her bed, on her couch. I was just like, what do I do? Like, do I stay? Do I go? Because I blatantly said, don't take a shower. But she just got up and took one anyway. So I was just like, so mind you, it's like already 10:30 at this point. And I'm just like, not that I had anything to do. I didn't have anything to do. But I was just like, I didn't come here at 10 in the morning to sit on your couch to wait till you got out the shower. So I was just like, what the heck, lady? So anyway, she gets out of the shower. So I'm like, okay. She gets out of the shower and she's like, okay, I am ready for you. Go ahead and do what you gotta do. So I was like, okay, cool. Mind you, the way we were set up is like where she was sitting was facing the window to the front of her house. So basically we were like in her living room area, but there's like this huge window that you can see what's like going on outside. So I'm in the middle of doing her hair and she had already sent me pictures of the color that she wanted. I particularly thought I did a good job of picking the color, but we'll get to that. So I'm putting on her first color, the base, the black, okay? Now, when you're doing a base color, you want to make sure that it's not like, you don't want a line, a solid line. So I went through, I put the color on and I'm going through this part is where I'm blending the line. Like I'm getting a comb and I'm blending the line out. In the middle of me trying to blend these lines, she jumps up because they have like a service where like, it's kind of like HelloFresh, but like not, it's kind of like Schwann's a little bit. It was a food service, but they were bringing it to her house. So she basically jumps up while I'm in the middle of trying to blend her color. And she was like, give me 1 second. She jumps up and then she opens the door for the guy before he comes in. And they start talking. Like they have a full-blown conversation. Like, and so I basically tell her, I'm like, hey, Deborah, like, I need you to come back. I need you to come sit back down. And I need to finish, like, this is time sensitive. Like, I need to finish your hair. And she's like, oh, so sorry, my bad, like, my bad. Let me go ahead and sit down. So I was like, all right, cool, thank you. Like, please sit down. So I go ahead, I finish that part, and now I'm applying the red to her hair. The red to her hair. Red dye, okay? Red color, whatever you want to call it, okay? I'm applying this to her hair. And here comes the AT&T man. We see him pulling up, and I got like so hot when I saw the AT&T guy because he passed by the house, and I was like, please don't let this man come to the, like, please don't let the reason why this man is in this neighborhood is to come to her house. Of course, he passes by the house. He makes the U-turn to come park in front of her house. And I was just like, oh my God. So of course, the AT&T man comes out of his car and he starts walking towards the door. So she goes, give me 1 second. I just need to talk to this AT&T man, and like, I just need to talk to him real fast. And I was like, Deborah, I'm in the middle of doing the red. She's like, no, if I don't do this now, then like he's gonna leave. And I had this appointment for months. And so I'm just like, if you had this appointment for months and you knew that you had the AT&T man coming, why did you do your appointment right now? Like, why did you do it today? Like, why didn't you just wait till next week? Give me another day, give me another time, like, girl. So of course she jumps up, she answers the door to the AT&T man. So she basically tells him like what they were doing. They were basically doing like a bundle, a plan or something. I don't really know. They were doing something that was going to add the internet. I don't know if they were switching to AT&T. I don't know what it was, but they were basically like switching to AT&T and getting more internet, but they had to put the boxes in, they had to put the remotes, they had to do that. So she's in the middle, like, mind you, half her hair is like processing and the other half still hasn't had red on it. And she's basically showing him around the house where the TVs were around the house. And I'm just like, Deborah, like, I need you to come back. Like, I need you to sit down. Like, I have to do your hair. And she's like, well, wait a minute. And this is the thing, like, I'm not gonna say Deborah was not rude to me. She was very, very nice, very pleasant, like, outside of a client, but she was very much like the worst client, because I'm just like, sit down. Like, what are we doing, girl? Sit down. I need to finish her hair. And so I'm basically telling her, like, I'm lying at this point. I'm like, Deborah, I have another client, so I have to make sure that I do this. Like, I need to make sure I'm on time. This is running me back. Like, you took a shower. Like, you know, I'm trying to be nice about it. And she's just like, okay. Let me just tell him real fast, and then I'll sit down and I won't move anymore. I was just like, oh my God, okay. She goes around the house, cool. She sits back down. I'm just like, at this point, like, one side of your head is fire truck. This side is going to be pink at this point. Like, so I'm doing her hair. I'm going through, I'm blending it. And now it's time for her to process. So I guess, like, you know, you're free to do whatever it is that you need to do because you're just processing. In the time that she had processed and did everything, or like while she was waiting, I don't know, she got red dye on the back of the chair that we were using. Mind you, this was a decorative chair. I asked her multiple times. I was like, are you sure you want to use this chair? It's red. Like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's cool. Well, all that moving around that she was doing, standing up, sitting down, she had stained the back of the chair. And I brought it to her attention because, like, I'm not, like, I'm just going to let you know right then and there. I'm not going to act like I don't see it. So I was like, hey, Deborah, you have red, like, you got dye on this. And she was like, oh, my God. Like, oh, my God. Let's do it because Stacey's going to kill me. Stacey's going to kill me if she sees that I messed up the chair. So she's, like, getting a wipe and she's, like, going like this, da-da-da-da. But as she's doing that, all this moving around, like, this lady, she was just, like, the Energizer bunny. So as she's moving around, she's getting red dye on the floor. And I was like, hey, like, you're getting it on the floor. She's like, I'm just getting it everywhere. I'm just getting it everywhere. She's like, what kind of dye are you using? Like, I've never had this dye run. And I'm just like, I know this woman is not trying to blame the fact that she's moving around and she's doing all this on the type of color that I'm using. Like, okay. So, needless to say, it is time to wash. So, of course, I have to wash her in the sink. Now, cool, I shampoo it out, whatever. One of my biggest pet peeves is let me finish, okay? Like, let me finish. Say whatever it is you want to say when it's done. I give you all absolute, like, everything. Once I'm done and I give you the finished product, say whatever you got to say. In the middle of it, do not comment on it because it's not going to look like, you know, it's not done. I feel like anybody that does like any type of art or any type of like makeup, hair, like, you know what I'm trying to say. So as soon as I finished shampooing her, she runs to her bathroom and she was like, Samantha, this looks a little dark, don't you think? Like, this is really dark. This is kind of dark. And I was like, just wait, like, your hair is wet. Like, your hair is going to look way darker when it's wet. Just wait, come back. And once I'm finished, like, let me know what you think. So she's like, okay. So this is the part where I'm going to start blow drying and straightening her hair because I was going to do the haircut after her hair was straight. Because she told me she never wears her hair curly. She always keeps it straight, da-da-da. Okay, cool. As I'm blow drying her hair, this AT&T man, of course, this AT&T man needs her name, her birthday, her social security, who's the name on the thing, which I'm not even mad because he's just doing his job. So he's asking her all these questions and she was like, oh, I don't know if the policy's under my name or it's under Stacy's name. So she's on the phone with Stacy and she's like dealing with the AT&T man. So the AT&T man, me and him, we were kind of like annoying each other, but we were also like sympathizing with each other because we're just like, what the heck? Like, he was in my way, I was in his, but then at the same time, we were just looking at each other like, because do y'all want to know, this poor AT&T man, she had him, she was like, oh, you seem like really tough and masculine. Like, I need your help. I think we have a beehive right over here. And I'm just looking like, girl, he's the AT&T man. He's here to do your internet and your phone. Hey, what are you asking him about a bee's nest for? So she just like goes to him and she was like, what do you think? You think you could take down the bees? Like, I have those bees up there and they've been sitting here for a long time. Do you think you could take those out? Do you think that like you could do that for me? And he's basically like, ha ha ha, no, like, I don't like bees. I can't deal with bees. Blah, blah. And she was like, but you're a strong man. What are you trying to say? Like, you're not a man. You're not a man. And I'm just like... And then I'm just like, I be forgetting, like, these people are older. They're from a different kind of generation because, you know, the Gen Z millennial in me is just like, girl, what? Just because he's a man, you got to take out your beehive? Like, I don't get it. But she's just like, basically, like, joking about that. She's like, oh, you're not a man, like you're afraid of bees, like you're supposed to be like a man, da da da. And I'm just like, that's not his job. Like, what? So anyway, I'm trying to like talk to her. So I'm trying to like get her to stay still because, hello, I'm trying to blow dry your hair and you're going crazy, you're talking, and she's just doing all kinds of like, the bees, who do you need? What do you need? Da, 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 da. Like, she's doing all this. I'm like, girl. So then it gets to the point where apparently the AT&T deal that she gets is offering her a new iPhone. She gets an iPhone with the service that they switched to. I don't really know. All I know is that she has an iPhone. Basically, the AT&T man was trying to help her set up her iPhone. And so she didn't know the password to anything. She didn't know the code to anything. So she keeps getting on the phone, her current phone, with Stacy. Stacy's like, girl, I don't know, I'm at work, blah, blah, blah. So Stacy's like low-key going off on her because she's like, I'm at work and like, I can't do this right now. Like, you need to help me. But at the same time, she didn't know the information. Deborah didn't know the information. So she's holding up the AT&T man while also like annoying Stacy because she's at work. And so she is like causing the AT&T man to like go like longer than what he needed to be, also while making me go longer than what I needed to be. So I basically told Stacy, I was like, hey, I don't think I'm gonna have time to do your haircut just because you have a lot of things going on. We can reschedule you, and like I'll just go ahead and finish the blow dry, and then we can reschedule you to do the rest. Like we'll just split the service up because this is too much. Just way too much. So she was like, no, like I'm gonna be still. I'm gonna be still. Like, okay, fine. Everything you need, just do what you need to do and I'll be still. So that worked for about like 30 minutes, like until the AT&T man was basically telling her like, hey, everything's good to go, you're done. And then she was just like, well, I don't know how to work this remote. Like, you're gonna have to show me how to work the remote. Wait till I'm done and then show me how I work the remote. And the AT&T man was like, no, like I can't stay. Like, if you want me to do it, like it has to be now because I can't stay. And I'm basically telling her like, you get up from this chair, I'm packing it up, I'm out. Like, I'm not about to sit here and do this. So she was like, Samantha, please, please, please. Like, I just need to learn how to do this remote, blah, blah. And then the AT&T man, like I said, we were kind of like got each other. He was like, hey, like, you don't need to learn how to do it right now. There's plenty of videos. I can send you like the number to the person you can call if you get like confused, blah, blah, blah. And so she was like, okay, like I'll do that. I was like, thank you, sir. So the AT&T man leaves and I'm finally at the point of the haircut. So I finally get to do the haircut. I already blow dried her hair. I already did it. Cool, fine, good to go. So I'm doing the haircut and she is finally calm, finally just doing her thing. Cool. Then she gets a call from Stacy, and Stacy is basically saying the old lady that was at their house the other day talking about good hair, bad hair, that lady wants to get her hair cut by me. And she's basically saying that she wants to see like if I can cut hair. That is a really just annoying because it's like, don't come to me being like, I want to see if you can cut hair. It's like, if you're gonna let me cut your hair, then let me cut your hair, but don't word it like that. You know what I'm saying? So basically, Stacy calls her to tell Deborah that, and Deborah's like, hey, I want you to cut this lady's hair. She wants to see that, blah, 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 whatever. So I was just like, okay, that's fine. I finished up Deborah's hair, and then that lady was there to do it. So I'm just going ahead and I'm basically asking the lady like, hey, what kind of hairstyle you want? It was an older woman, so she wanted like a short kind of cut like that. She's basically telling me what I have, but shorter. So I was just like, okay, cool. So I'm doing this and it was fine. It was a very regular haircut. It was nothing crazy. So the reason why I had issue with this lady was because she just kept sending like shots and I didn't understand why. Like she wasn't talking, she wasn't saying anything. Like we weren't having a dialogue together, but then she would just randomly be like, you know, I just have to see if it's dry because I don't know if you cut even. Some people don't know how to cut even. Stuff like that where I'm just like, okay, like, all right, whatever. So I charged her for the haircut as well, obviously, like, but then Deborah told me not to charge her, to charge Deborah. This all is gonna make sense. All this craziness is gonna make sense. So whatever, I wasn't gonna say like, that lady, her haircut was easy. She ended up liking it, I guess. But she just had so many comments about like how she's gonna check like when I leave, then she's gonna go in the bathroom and check the back to make sure it's even, giving very much that. And I'm just like over it. I don't do well with stuff like that because I just don't feel like just because you're old I have to respect you. So I wasn't really giving it the time of day. I was just like, okay, like. And that's another thing, when you do work in people's houses, it's like you kind of have to like respect their home, and they feel like they're comfortable enough to disrespect you because it's their house. And then like, what are you gonna do, like pop off at their house? I mean, you could, but whatever. So I finished that lady's hair. I finished Deborah's hair, and that lady told Deborah, she's like, that color's dark, don't you think? It's a lot darker than what you usually get. And I'm just like, no, it's definitely the lighting. Like if you go outside and you see your hair, if you see it in the light, because we were in dim lighting, it's like if you see it in the light, it's exactly the picture that you showed me. And so that's, I was just not vibing with that old lady. Like she's just, So then I finished. I'm starting to pack all my stuff up. Mind you, this was hours later. I spent the whole day with this lady, which it should not have been a whole day thing. It should have been 3 hours max. So I go, I get all my stuff together. We're in the driveway. Like I said, Deborah is a really nice lady. I'm not taking that away from her. So she's really, really nice. And she's just like, I think next time, like, we can just get away with just doing like an all over red. And then, because that way it'll last me longer, because it is a little bit darker than what I wanted. Personally, I didn't see that, but neither here nor there. So she was basically telling me like the color she wanted to do, I gave her the shampoos and everything. She gave me the money for them. She asked me how much it was, and I gave her the price. She did not blink twice. She did not say anything. She just sent me the money. Like, she sent it through Zelle, whatever. She sent me my money. I thought we were good to go. We left on really good terms. She said she loved her hair. She said she was going to take pictures, Everything was cool. There was no complaints there. And Deborah is a very outspoken woman. Like, she's like kind of crazy. She just be out there. And so I thought everything went really, really smooth. Wasn't my favorite thing. I didn't particularly like my experience, considering I was sharing my time with the AT&T man and the Energizer bunny. But I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think anything wrong. So fast forward, mind you, this was in March. So fast forward to about April, I was kind of thinking about it, and I was like, you know, she still hasn't messaged me about getting her hair done. She hasn't said anything about it, you know, whatever. Like, okay, I'm not the type of person to reach out to people about their hair. I know some stylists do that just to get their reoccurring clients. I personally find it annoying and just kind of like overbearing. If somebody wants to get their hair done with you, they'll contact you. You do not need to contact them. Like, that's just my personal thing. So I basically, like, I thought about her in April. I was like, I'm surprised she hasn't said anything. Then May rolled around. So I was just like, okay, like, she still hasn't said anything. And so then Stacy actually messages me, and she's like, hey, I want to know if you can come over to do my hair again. Cool. So I was just like, yeah, that's fine. I can come over and do her hair, whatever. So fast forward to the day, I go to her house and I'm doing her hair, and she's basically talking to me, and she was like, hey, if you don't mind me asking, like, what did you do on Stacy or on Deborah? And I was like, oh, are you asking like what kind of service I did? And me being a dodo, I'm thinking she's asking because she wants something similar. that in my head, my first reaction was that she wanted me to do what I did with Deborah on her. So I was like, oh, we did like a base coat, and then we did like the red underneath, and then we did just a blow dry and a flat iron, and I gave her a haircut or whatever. And I was like, are you thinking, me being an idiot, I'm like, are you thinking about like doing something different with your hair, mama? And she was like, no, I was just wondering, like, because, you know, she was kind of upset at the fact that you charged her so much. And I was like, I charged her so much. I'm not going to sit here and tell y'all my pricing just because why? But I don't charge outrageous, but I definitely charge fair. I'm just going to leave it at that. Like, I know what top of the line, I know what people pay for their hair. I worked in Miami. Like, I worked in a top salon in Miami. I know how much people are willing to pay for their hair. Okay, I've seen it. And then I know that we live in Miami, so there are people here that will do your hair for $30. I'm not naive to that fact. But I am coming to your house. I'm using top quality products. I'm getting my own products, and like, you know, I feel like what I'm charging is fair. And to be honest, I don't have to explain my prices to anybody. If this is what I feel I'm worth, then this is what I feel I'm worth. So when she said that she thought that I charged too much, I was just like, okay. I didn't say anything. Obviously, this is your sister, so what am I going to talk bad about your sister to you? So I was just like, oh, that's fair. Like, you know, everybody has their own budget and their own price point. That's fine. Like, she was like, oh, I think that's just why she's been meaning to call you, but she also doesn't think that what you charged her was right. She thinks you overcharged her. And so I just didn't understand what the motive was of that situation, because I was just like, why are you telling me this? Because if this is your sister, I don't know. I get weird when it comes to family, because I'm just like, why are you telling me this? Like, do you think I'm going to talk bad about your sister to you, or do you think I'm going to change my pricing, or what? Because obviously what I charge Stacy is significantly cheaper than what I charged Deborah. We did completely different services. You guys have completely different hair. You know what I mean? I don't have to blow dry and flat iron Stacy's hair. I only have to blow dry her hair. Her hair doesn't take a lot of color, so I don't have to use a lot of product. You know, it's, you know, the whole thing. And even with that, I'm like, I gave you a pretty significant, like, discount just because, like, I felt like it, to be honest. I didn't charge you as much as I could have. So I just kind of like sat there and I just kept doing her hair. I didn't speak on it. I didn't say anything back to Stacy about it, because to be honest, I don't have anything to say to you about it. So I just let it ride, whatever. While I'm finishing up, guess who comes home? Deborah. So Deborah comes, and she comes looking for Stacy. I didn't think that she knew that I was there. I don't know what the deal was. But she was like, oh, Samantha, like, I'm so surprised to see you, like, da-da-da. And I was just like, hey, how are you? Once again, I don't take any of this stuff personal. I don't take pricing personal, because it just is what it is. What you're not willing to pay, somebody else will. What I'm not willing to, you know, discount, another person will. You know, this industry is huge. I don't really take that personal. So when she came up to me, she's like, oh, Samantha, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm good. How are you? Cool. So basically, she tells me, she was like, oh, you know, I've been just letting my hair grow out, which I did see that. Like, her hair didn't look any different. It just looked faded. She was like, I've been letting my hair grow out. I haven't been doing anything. And I was just like, oh, yeah, it looks like very healthy. It looks really nice. And she was just like, yeah, you know, I wanted to call you, but I just felt like, you know, last time you got me like arm and a leg. And I'm just like, so I didn't really like that comment. And I was like, what do you mean arm and a leg? And she was just like, you know, like, girl, like, I don't know what happened, but like, I wasn't expecting, like, when Stacy told me that you charged her this much for her hair, like, I wasn't expecting you to do all this. Like, you know, it was steep. And she's basically telling me as if I'm going to be like, yeah, girl, it was my bad. Like, it was. And I just kind of responded. I was like, Deborah, you also have to realize, like, what I did. The service that you got a lot. And the product, I had to use a lot of product on you. And she was like, I know, but like, girl, like, that's kind of a lot. You really charged me a lot. And not to mention, like, the old lady's haircut, like, what happened? And I was just like, I charged for my time, the products. I was like, I drove here. You don't live down the street from me. I have to pay tolls. I have to pay for my gas. Like, so I'm being very passive aggressive and combative, because it's one thing for you to, you know, mention the pricing, but it's another thing for you to like challenge me in a way of like, I just charged you that much for no reason. Like, oh, I charged you that much for a blow dry. No, ma'am, I didn't. Like, let's be real here. So she's basically telling me, she was just like, well, like, Samantha, come on. It, like, no fue pa tanto. Like, that's what she's giving. And she's just like, it wasn't, you know. I was basically trying to say, like, I dragged up the price. So I'm basically like, Deborah, it's fine if you feel like I overcharged you or I charged too much. I don't ever take it personal if what I charge is out of your price point or not something that you're willing to pay. But like, don't disrespect me and don't try to make it seem as if I didn't do a good job or I didn't give you a service that equals that price. Like, it's fine. I don't take anything of it. You don't have to keep doing your hair with me. You don't. It's fine. But I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth with you about whether or not you think I'm worth that much. And so she was like, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I'm not talking about your worth. Your worth is you. Da 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 da. Basically trying to say like, that's not what she said. And I'm just like, girl, what is this conversation? It is what you said. And she's like, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. Don't do that, because that's not what I said. Obviously, these women are Hispanic. Hello. If you can tell by the mannerisms and how I'm talking. And so she's like, that's not what I said. I was just basically letting you know that I didn't think that you were going to charge me that much. You surprised me with the price, especially because the lady that I go to, she never charges me that much. So I simply responded, then go back to the lady that does your hair. Just go back to it. Because I didn't even mention the fact that I sit there all day while you were sitting here playing around with the AT&T man. So like, you know, you're going to talk about the price because you don't think that it was all this and that. But like, you're also not taking into account the amount of time, how much of time I stayed at your house because you wanted to sit here and play with the AT&T man. And so basically she was just like, well, you know, I'm going to respect your decision, you know, but at the same time, like, you need to work on your customer service, because like you just lost a client. You just lost a client because, you know, not only are you charging just a lot, but, you know, you're going to tell me something that I didn't say. I was like, Deborah, okay. If you think that I don't have customer service, if this, that, and the third, if that's what you think, then by all means, don't call my phone. And that's basically what it ended up being. Like, I just got fed up. So I'm just like, don't call my phone. Don't text me. Like, you are no longer my client. I'm no longer your hairstylist. It just doesn't work. It didn't work. That's good to go. Like, boom, bang, pow. Mind you, Stacey is witnessing all this, and Stacey's not saying nothing. Like, she's just chilling there. And so I was just like, it was great meeting you. It was great having you as a client. Like, but call it a day. It is what it is. Whatever. And so then basically Stacey was telling me like, oh, I'm sorry about that, blah, blah, blah. And I just, like I said, I'm not going to talk bad about anybody's, your family, like whatever. So I just stayed quiet for the whole thing, and I just got my stuff and I dipped, and I have not done either of their hairs since. Stacey is kind of a different story, but that's for another time because this video is already way too long. But yeah, that was the time, the freaking house call horror, where she just like, you made me do all this stuff to you, made me do all this service while also, you know, waiting for you to take a shower, playing with the AT&T man, and then you're gonna turn around and then tell me that you don't like the price that I gave you, and then tell me that I need customer service. Okay, like, so yeah, after this long video, this is gonna be a doozy to edit. Yeah, so there's that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, I will see you guys in my next one. I feel like I'm forgetting to say something that I wanted to say something to y'all, but I just I can't remember. Whatever. I'll say it in the next video. Anyway, have a great rest of your day. See ya. Bye.